being trapped in this open-air prison for decades, and they cannot eat, they cannot have medicine, they cannot go in, they cannot go out. We lock them there in a big ghetto, and we have to put the words in a very clear context. We are locking this 1.5 million people for so long, and we treat them as animals.
The Israeli Defense Forces have urged civilians in Gaza for their own safety to go to the city center and then bomb the Gaza city center with 155mm artillery shells. By using this weapon in such circumstance, Israel's committing indiscriminate attacks in violation of the laws of war.
The spokeswoman for the Israeli army, Major Leibovich, was asked about the Israeli killing. She replied instantly that 500 of them were militants. That was the reply of a Nazi. I suppose the Jews fighting for their lives in the Warsaw Ghetto could have been dismissed as militants.
I would like to a terrorist like this.
Why Israel not allowing international journalists and Israeli journalists to cover Gaza and acting like Zimbabwe or Burma? Isn't it our right to exercise whether our life is in risk or not?
I think that there is even because of security reasons.
The Israeli Foreign Minister, Tzipi Livni, asserts that her government will have no dealings with Hamas because they're terrorists. Tzipi Livni's father was Eitan Livni, Chief Operations Officer of the terrorist Irgun Spy Leumi, who organised the blowing up of the King David Hotel in Jerusalem, in which 91 victims were killed, including 4 Jews.
So we can launch another one and another one, because this is a war against terror.
Israel was born out of Jewish terrorism.
Human Rights Watch observers have seen white phosphorus being used over Gaza City and over the Jabalia refugee camp. These are heavily, densely populated areas. That is a violation of the Geneva Conventions, and Israel should not be doing that.
What's your assessment of what Israel is doing in Gaza?
I can answer you with 2 words: a war crime.
Because we do care for the loss of life of civilians.
More than 20 people died here, including a woman, locals told me, shot dead while waving a white flag. Having bulldozed the place, the Israelis destroyed the village water tower.
هذا هو بث الكتائب القسامة الجناح المسلح لحركة حماس.
It's time for our government to make clear to the Israeli government that its conduct and policies are unacceptable, and to impose a total arms ban on Israel. It is time for peace, but real peace, not the solution by conquest, which is the Israelis' real goal, but which is impossible for them to achieve. They're not simply war criminals, they're fools.
According to hospital staff, the victim was a 5-month-old baby girl. They said her body was found near others crushed by Israeli tanks. They claimed she'd been dead for more than 2 days and partially eaten by dogs.
We are Israeli conscientious objectors. That means we refuse to serve in the Israeli army because they are occupying another people, the Palestinians.
And another disturbing development this evening in Gaza City's northern area of Jabalia. Paramedics report finding bodies that have apparently been run over by Israeli army tanks.
Nothing good is going to come out of it unless they keep fighting all the way with it till they wipe them all out.
There's only one way to deal with the cancer. You burn it out or you remove it.
They are forcing us to kill their children to defend our children, yes.
Wherever there is terror, no matter where they hide, you got to get them out.
I think they should just clear off all the city. Just take it off the ground.
You knew where all the UN facilities were because the UN had told you long before you decided to invade Gaza.
Flames raced through the United Nations Central Compound for Humanitarian Aid. The complex houses food, fuel, medicine, and about 700 Palestinians who were seeking refuge from the fighting.
This is one building which must have been the #1 do not hit. And you did it. Leaders all over the world have condemned this as an atrocity. Our own Prime Minister here has said it's utterly indefensible. After the apology was issued, you hit it again.
We are investigating it.
These weapons are not illegal under international law, but it is illegal to use them in civilian areas.
And that's your allegation.
Do you accept that you have been using them in civilian areas?
Well, we're currently conducting our own internal investigation.
We are here today because of the shame that Israel has brought upon mankind by its murderous attack upon the civilians of Gaza and the war crimes it has committed.
How do you know that some of these injuries weren't caused, for example, by Hamas munitions? But can someone say that to a camera from Channel 4?
Mr. Regev, you're now saying
that the people
it is
in Gaza,
not the Israelis who dropped the phosphorus and the fragmentation bombs. It is Hamas. Is that right? Is that your allegation?
We're investigating our use of munitions.
Mr. Regev, I need to clarify this tonight because clearly the evidence you're giving us must be given to the war crimes investigations that are being carried out in Gaza. You are saying that our evidence of flechettes, of phosphorus bombs, of fragmentation bombs, of shells that hit balconies and then spewed shrapnel around the walls, these things were done not by Israel, but by Hamas, correct?
I did not say that whatsoever, sir. You're putting words in my mouth. Hamas also uses phosphorus weapons, and they shot them at Israel. That's a documented fact.
Israel is based on racism. Every day, 100 times a day, we are seeing pictures of Sderot and being told that the people in that village live under fear of rocket attack. Not one time has it been said on television that Sderot was a Palestinian village until it was stolen. We stand for a Palestine which is one country, not tiny homelands surrounded, walled off and deprived of supplies and water.
Why did you do that? Why did you, in effect, kill the ceasefire with the blockade and the November 4th action?
My Celtic ancestors were throwing offerings into the lakes of Switzerland. Can I go and claim Switzerland? Nonsense! Nonsense! We stand for a single, united Palestine. We stand against racism. Zionism is bullshit.